When was the last time you really played with a game? And this is play in a slightly different sense than what you might be thinking about for playing a game in the way we often refer to it. So about 8 years ago, I was writing episodes for Extra Credits. It's a much larger YouTube channel. 4 of those episodes got used. De-gamification was one of them, and it was just exploring about games where if we strip away points and rewards and unlocks and difficulty and challenge into just a space of interactivity, how there's a thing there we can play with, how it's a useful lens for us as designers, as developers. And the same kind of lens here can be applied to when we're talking about playing with or playing at a game. Maybe another way to try to break this distinction now. I'll put a link to that Extra Credits video if you're curious for that kind of context. But so one of my research advisors, Dr. Brian McGurko, he used the example of like when you just have kids and they are just fighting with long cardboard tubes as if they're having a lightsaber fight. They're playing, right? We wouldn't call it a game. There's no win condition. They're not trying to earn something. They're not trying to unlock something. There's no progression. There's no winner or loser. It is just playing. And one of the things that happens is when we have these digital artifacts that, of course, typically get referred to as games, sold as games, there's kind of a gray area of ways we engage with it. So, for example, when we first get a game, often one of our first goals is I want to unlock the different tracks in a racing game, get the different characters, unlock whatever else I can from it, check off all the boxes to have done all the things I was there to do. And if we're not careful, part of what will happen is once I've done all the unlocks and stuff, in a weird way, I feel like I stop getting credit for that time, right? I'm stopped making progress. Progress was clear when I was getting all those things done and unlocked and so on. I could have actually just kind of digested it and then I move on to go make unlocks on something else. So I feel like my time is, again, adding up in some way, as opposed to at what point are we really taking time to play with it, to just enjoy running around, doing the things in it, checking out the aesthetics of it, the experience of movement, the experience of weapons, the experience of combat, the experience of puzzle solving in it. And that way in which it is not being rewarded. It is not a progression. It is not checking anything off of a list. There's an area of research that interests me as an educator by Alfie Kohn about how I think Punished by Rewards is one of his great books on this topic. But it really just has to do with this kind of disincentives of how if we focus too much on the outside recognition of, okay, well, I did this thing, I unlocked this thing, does it get in the way of our intrinsic motivation, our own reasons for wanting to do stuff? It was some of the pushback we had when achievements in games were new. Chris Hecker gave a great talk about this. Honestly, it's part of how I found Alfie Kohn's work. And Chris Hecker is another game designer from Spy Party, and he talked about how, you know, if we reward players for doing a triple backflip on a motorcycle or something, are they less likely to set those goals and try to do them for themselves? Although I really want to go with this is less about game playing. It's just that's an easier kind of place to hook what we're talking about into. I want to apply it to game development. Because the same thing happens in the game development scene, where it's very, very different if we are trying to make a game to unlock something else. And there's nothing negative about it, but it is a different relationship to making games if I am making this game to look good in my portfolio. If I'm making this game to hopefully get me a job somewhere, or a paid collaboration, or a freelance gig. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But it is a very different lens from, am I making a game to have fun with it? And again, to go back to these examples of when we're on the playing side, we might play a game in order to unlock all the stuff in it, so we have more modes and options and things for when our friends want to play multiplayer. But we also could just play a game because it's enjoyable, because we like doing it. And one of the things I've seen happen for some folks is that they got so focused in on making games for the portfolio, for some outside external objective, for crossing some line of now they are in industry or they found paid work. And those are good. Those are positive things. What they didn't do was then return to, oh yeah, there's a reason I got into making games in the first place. And it probably wasn't first and foremost, honestly, a job. It's because making games sounded amazing. It's because it sounded fun to do, because I've always wanted to do that, because I have ideas of games inside me that are just pushing to want to find their way out into the world. And that it's important that even if we are making games for outside external reasons, which is, again, a perfectly valid reason to do it, that when and how we can, we don't forget to go back to, oh yeah, there was a reason I was doing this in the first place, and it was never external in the beginning. It was because I wanted to make games. There's a kind of game I feel like making. And it may not be the same type of thing that best matches a portfolio, that best matches a career, that maybe best matches a product I can sell. But there's a thing I want to make. And finding space for that, creating space for that, maintaining space for that, including, again, there's plenty of folks who, and this is me for the years when I was in full-time industry, on the side still making just simple freeware stuff. I know it can feel like there's a conflict of interest sometimes if theoretically the company owns outside stuff. The only times I've really seen those exercises is if someone does something super commercially relevant and the company feels like you did it, should have been doing that for us instead. If you're just doing freeware stuff, at the end of the day, typically, and granted not a lawyer, depends on details, but realistically, most of them just don't care, right? I don't know. It's like if you're in a symphony on the side, you play a guitar in a band and stuff, they just kind of don't care. It's just kind of off the radar. Anyway, that's what I want to share today, is this framing about the distinction between play and playing with, rather. Again, if you didn't check out Gamification, one of my old scripts for extra credits, that link is in the description. But it's the same sort of lens applied not just to game playing, and are we continuing to enjoy it, just the activity of it, separate from unlocks, separate from treating these as digestible, completable things, applying that to game development. That am I not just doing this to get to something else outside of it? Is it not just the ends justifying the means, in which case then, once I got the job, once I got the thing I was going after, once I was able to sell a product, I lose touch with why I found so much enjoyment, so much creative satisfaction, so much fun in playing at making games. The last thing I want to say in its favor is that it really can be a source of creativity, a source of doing stuff that's different, a source. When Tim and I were doing our 10-year podcast discussion the other day, we were talking about how if everyone in the world is all looking at the same tracking trends and metrics for what they can sell, they're all kind of responding to the market. They might put their own twist on things, that's still valid, but it's going to be so much less of a diverse range of things getting made than people just making what they feel like making, what's in their hearts, what's exciting to them, what's exciting to you personally. Whether you do it with us in DevPods or some other way, I hope you'll continue to find ways to, in addition to whatever the reasons you may make games, professional reasons, make games because you want to, because it's fun, because it's satisfying, because you enjoy playing at making games as much as maybe you also enjoy making games for other reasons. That's it for the day. I just want to go a quick plea for that. Catch you all around. Keep making games. Bye for now.